The heart of Sydney's Chinatown is Dixon Street in the inner suburb of Haymarket. And at the heart of Chinatown's growth into a vibrant cultural precinct is King Fong, known affectionately as the King of Chinatown. Chinatown began life in the 1920s when a large wholesale produce market was opened in Hay Street. As a result, Chinese market gardeners and traders congregated and opened their businesses there. Many took up residence in nearby Dixon Street. Gradually, more and more Chinese entrepreneurs settled in the area to cater for the needs of merchants and residents. King Fong's father, Say Tin Fong, was a prominent merchant in Chinatown in the 1950s. He had a store in Dixon Street as well as a lodging house. King, as the eldest son of the family, helped out a lot at the store when he was still in junior high and high school. He was most helpful as an interpreter for his father when non-Chinese customers came by. He was fluent in English even as a young boy. He gradually developed a sense of responsibility for the store and later took interest in other shops around. He took on the task of promoting Chinatown businesses to the Western community and started by advertising in the popular media. When he was still a teenager, he met Margot Lee, a famous fashion model at that time. He was invited to an advertisement with Margot and himself promoting Chinese cooking utensils, including a wok. King's parents were from Guangdong province in southern China. His father migrated to Fiji in 1932, then his mother followed in 1935. 3 years later, King was born in Suva, the capital city. It was in Suva that King picked up the English language at a very young age. The family had a grocery and milk bar across an American army base, and American soldiers regularly came over to the store. They often talked with the young King and allowed him to watch American newsreels at the base. In 1946, when King was 8 years old, the family decided to return to China. However, civil war broke out in China while they were in transit in Sydney. As they did not feel safe going back to China, they decided to stay in Sydney. The Australian government allowed them to remain on a merchant visa. With that visa, the family established a flourishing business in Chinatown. King took charge after his father passed away in 1958 and managed it until his retirement in 1986. In the early 1970s, Chinatown went through a slump because of the wholesale market was moved from Haymarket to Flemington. King Fong and the other businessmen in the Dixon Street Chinese Committee led a crusade to revitalize the precinct, with the help of the Sydney City Council. The group organized fundraising campaigns to help regain the buzz in the precinct. They built Chinese-style archway at both ends of Dixon Street and erected traditional symbols such as stone lions, lanterns, and pagodas. Their efforts brought new life to Chinatown, and since then, Dixon Street has become a major attraction to local and international visitors. While King was immersed in revitalizing Chinatown, he also dedicated himself to making Chinese culture and history better understood in Australia. He led several community organizations in putting on events, forums, and festivals that helped achieve this goal. For his effort, King was awarded the Medal of the Order of Australia in 1988, citing his services to the Chinese community. King is also a history enthusiast and has an extensive collection of books about the history of Chinese communities across Australia. Deciding to share his knowledge, he launched the Chinatown Walking Tours, which he conducted himself, sharing Chinatown's colourful history and other stories of Chinese in Australia. The tours became a popular tourist attraction and further invigorated Chinatown. King says that thankfully he has a good memory that helped him remember and relate interesting, sometimes minute details during the tours. King considers himself happily retired and loves seeing other people, especially the younger generations, finding their own opportunities to shine in the service of the community.